Okay.
Welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Patty Cohen of Pacific Union Realty. All right. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Use it. Well, actually, you used to be with Pac Union. Now you're with Compass. How did I make that mistake? I didn't have it in front of me.
Now it's Compass.
Actually, Patty Cohen, formerly with Pac Union, now with Compass. Actually, you've been there now how long? Over a year.
You know, they bought us 2 years ago, actually 2.5, and now Compass is the largest real estate company in the country and the most dominant in the Bay Area.
Awesome. You see their signs everywhere. I mean, so anyway, Patty Cohen of Compass Realty. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Use that number to answer the trivia questions for a 5-pack tanning certificate given away during the show. And that certificate's not sponsored by the radio station, but by Tan Bella Tanning Salon with 2 locations in San Francisco and 1 in Marin. Today's trivia theme is movie trivia. So Patty, there's a lot of stuff going on with real estate. I know you have a lot of stuff to share with us. Take it away.
Yes, there is a lot going on. And, you know, there's lots of stories here, you know, like I think it's good to take a big picture perspective of real estate because real estate is still the best investment, I believe, anywhere, especially Bay Area real estate. Okay. So when I say big picture perspective, look at where the trend line has gone for the last 30 years. Look at the last 10. So when we get really micro for a minute, prices, for example, in Marin County have gone up 13% since December. Now,
wow,
that's something to get excited about, right? But at the same time, prices have adjusted a little bit since April. And right now, it's a very slow summer. And it's not just in real estate, it's not just real estate in Marin County. A lot of people, I think people are taking their long-awaited summer vacations.
Yeah.
We kind of forgot what summer was. With the pandemic, there was no seasonality. It just went, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on. You know, people are like, oh, you know, if you talk to anybody without really understanding the numbers, they might just give you a different story. Prices are going up, prices are going down, you know, interest rates went up. Oh, I heard they went down. But the truth is, rather than say, hey, we're headed for a recession, the takeaway is it's balancing. Because if prices went up, say 13% since December, well, within the past 12 months, it was maybe the same or at least say 20 to 25%. That's not sustainable considering that we've been since 2012, prices have been rising.
Yeah.
So balance is needed. Balance is needed. The sky is not falling, right?
Yeah, Patty, let me ask you a question. I read somewhere that a lot of potential buyers were canceling contracts. Have you heard that, or are you experiencing that?
Well, we're seeing more price reductions, and we're seeing more deals go out of escrow, and they're canceling.
Okay.
They're canceling maybe for financial reasons, and maybe for reasons that they're feeling like, oh, prices are going to go down. I don't want to be that person that overpays, right?
Yeah.
But think about this. If you're a buyer in January 2022, you've got a very low interest rate, you're scraping in perhaps, and on a market that's already really high, people think possibly going, you know, peaking. Well, 4 months later, interest rates went up 80%, and prices went up, you know, almost 13. So now you can't afford what you could afford in January.
Yeah.
For both reasons. So a lot of people just went out of the market because they couldn't afford it. And meanwhile, they were scraping in. It's not like, oh, I'll just go to a lower price range. They were not really satisfied with what they could afford in January. They're really not satisfied in, you know, July.
Oh, that makes sense.
So there's that. So right now, here we stand in the summer, and people are checked out. They're on vacation. Everyone I talk to in different lines of work say, yes, really slow for me. They're on vacation. But then at the same time, when you add the interest rates and the prices that have gone up, inflation, that, some of them don't want to buy or cannot buy. So, and then sellers, if they're still pricing on that same trajectory that was happening in April, their place is sitting there. So that's why people are saying, oh, somebody just reported that prices have gone down in some markets 20%. Well, down from what? Maybe we're back to like February 2022. That's not that bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So let me ask you, before we go to a break, what about the people who were moving because of COVID? They wanted more space, to be able to work from home. It seems to me that those kind of people, probably most of them already made the move. Am I correct, or is that still going on?
Yeah, I think so. And now people are just going about their life, and they're moving, trying to get in the market, or they're births, deaths, divorces, relocations,
Yeah, and also a lot of employers are starting to say, hey, you know what, we kind of want you back to work. I mean, wasn't it Tesla that kind of made that announcement that they wanted people to work coming back, and even Facebook and Apple, and then some of these people are kind of going, listen, no, I like working from home. Okay, I'll come in one day or 2 days a week, 2 days a week.
Yeah.
Good.
And then a lot of people have had the time to go with their heart's desire and maybe change careers, or they only have to go 3 days a week, so they stay in that more remote location,
Especially the millennials, they've always had a propensity, actually, in the last so many years, to decide to just, I just want to go ahead and change. Whereas when I graduated college, it was during the recession of '81. That was, during the Carter years, and Reagan had just come into power, and we were happy if you got a job. Now it seems like
exactly.
Not so happy yet. Hey, tell you what, we're going to go to our first commercial break here, and the first trivia question is, what term? We're talking movie trivia. What term is used for the film industry in Mumbai, India? What do they call the film industry in Mumbai, India? Call 888-912-1190. First caller with the correct answer is going to win that tanning certificate. Don't touch that dial. The Best of Investing will be right back. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Edward Brown here, along with Patty Cohen of Compass Realty. And our first trivia question, what term is used for the film industry in Mumbai, India?
Would that be Bollywood?
Bollywood, yes. Instead of Hollywood, it's Bollywood. And Patty, you know what? I'm going to go right to our email question we received, which is, with a recession looming, what is your expectation of house prices in the near future?
Wow. Wow. I don't know. I mean, because there's so many unknowns that are driving inflation. Like, here is what I think are the 6 drivers of inflation. The Ukraine-Russian war, the Fed printed too much money and kept interest rates low for too long, bad global economy, bad global energy prices, while seeking green alternatives. That's number 3. It did not have great transition plans in place. Number 4, extreme and inefficient government spending, stimulus, COVID, and all that. Number 5, the supply chain issues related to COVID. And number 6, competition declining, given that some excessive pricing and allowed some greed because you can kind of pricing. So we've got inflation, so it's really hard to tell. And we were kind of due for an adjustment in prices because we've had a 10-year run. So I really do not know how to frame it right now. I really don't.
Wow.
I mean, some people are saying, hey, supply and demand, we still have it. It's it's still a seller's market. And it's still, supply and demand, they're still maybe going up. I don't know. And maybe they're not. I don't know.
I mean, you still have a situation where there's more human beings than there is houses.
That's it. That's exactly right.
And so
they're not going to be. Maybe people are going to lower their expectations. I'm not sure.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I know we lost a Senate seat, you know, or I guess House of Representatives, but it still seems like there's just a huge demand for housing, primarily in California.
Now, here's an example too of what's happening around the country. I just sold two personal, investment properties in Florida. One closed last week, one's closing next week, and each of them had multiple offers. I hit it exactly at the end. Each of them had multiple offers, and the buyers in every case, except for one of those people, were institutions. The proof of funds, I mean, they were like $400,000 properties. The proof of funds was 10 million. It was in a REIT or some kind of institution. Now, are they still doing this? Probably not, because the market changed. And then Tampa was predicted to go up, and they were in Tampa. Tampa was predicted to go up the most in 2022. So, so it's happening everywhere. Like, I know nationwide, pending sales dipped 16% year over year in June, following a 12% drop in May and a 9% drop in April. So this is the 10th straight month of year over year decline in pending sales. And that's after an insanely busy 24 months. So yeah, and the Fed artificially suppressed interest rates and bought billions of dollars in mortgage-backed securities. So it's different. Some of it's artificial, some of it's natural. It's very complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, very interesting.
So I mean, I'm not sure how to predict it. I really don't know.
It's interesting. Mark Konfo, his dad always used to tell him there's always money to be made in real estate, whether you're a buyer or a seller. You just have to, it's really just based on the right price. Because even in a
you're so right, because you make the money in the down markets. If you're brave, you go in there and swoop it up. I mean, because basically right now it looks like prices are going down, but think of the froth. Think of a beer. That froth is what happened in March and April. The froth, that's gone. So the people, I've heard of people bidding $2 million over asking, or 500,000 over asking, 15 offers. We're not getting 15 offers. Now, properties are still going over asking, but not like they were. So it's that froth is gone. So it's like, did prices go down that much? No, they haven't. There were people that really, really overpaid during that period.
Well, I wonder too,
at the same time,
I wonder if people who had buyer's fatigue are suddenly going, you know what, maybe I should come now into the market, because I'm not going to be having to do as much competing.
Maybe. I think there's just a lot of wait and see right now, and that's never good.
Yeah. No, it's hard to tell. It's like the stock market, right? It's like when you do make money, it's when you sell. Yeah, or actually, I mean, let's put it this way. Actually, if you buy correctly, is when you make your money. It's same thing kind of in real estate. If you buy correctly, that's when you make it. You realize it actually when you sell, but during the time, it's when you purchase.
You have to be brave.
Yeah, we have a couple more things. Let's touch on a couple more things before we go to break. I know you have a couple of articles you wanted to share. Go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Basically, it's that. It's like what's happening right now. And, so here's the thing. Like you said, is it a good time to sell, or is it a good time to buy? And
Good
it's
question.
Honestly both.
Yeah.
Because, so for buyers, don't wait. Get in. Don't wait for prices to plunge. And then sellers, residential real estate is not, commercial is something different, like way different. But residential real estate, people are still doing things because there's a divorce, or there's a relocation, or there's a birth. They're downsizing. And the baby boomers is the big bulge in the system.
Yeah.
There's more baby boomers than anything.
Well,
So
also for
if
the
you're,
people who are interested in selling, or excuse me, I'm sorry, for the people who are interested in buying, they may want to catch the market before the interest rates go up too much.
that's right. That's right.
So
And
it's
are they going to keep going up?
yeah.
So, I mean, if you're
Who
a
knows?
seller, you've just experienced massive appreciation and
Yeah.
the timing is good. So you didn't hit it in April, hit it now because, you know, if
Yeah.
selling is something you're contemplating, why wait? It's still a seller's market.
And
It
the
just
people,
feels so
a lot
different
of people are
because it was
downsizing,
extreme.
right? A lot of baby boomers are downsizing. They're cashing in on their, $1 million+ of equity. Hey, tell you what, Patty, we got to cut to another commercial break here. In the 2013 film Captain Phillips, starring Tom Hanks in the title role, is a true story about an American cargo ship captain taken hostage by pirates around the Horn of Africa. Where were the pirates from? What country? All right. That's our trivia question. Call 888-912-1190. You'll know the answer to this one if you think about it. 2013 film Captain Phillips, starring Tom Hanks. True story about an American cargo ship captain taken hostage by pirates around the Horn of Africa. Where were the pirates from? All right, that is our trivia question. Stay with us. You're listening to The Best of Investing. Don't touch that dial. We are going to be right back. Welcome back to The Best of Investing. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen of Compass Realty. And our second trivia question, in the 2013 film Captain Phillips, starring Tom Hanks in the title role, it's a true story about an American cargo ship captain taken hostage by pirates around the Horn of Africa. Where were the pirates from? Patty?
Was it Somalia?
Somalia. Very good. All right, you are
Yes.
2 for 2.
All right.
All right. Why don't you give us a couple of fun stories about what you've been dealing with? Because obviously this market's been a little different than it has been in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's a lot different. It's so extreme. Like in February, March, April, we would get. I'd put something on the market. People would beg to do a preemptive offer, and they knew that a preemptive offer would have to be, 15% over asking, or there were several properties that were selling 50% over asking.
Wow.
And now, if you contrast that with right now, it's starting in June. It's a very quiet summer. I mean, maybe starting in May, honestly, when that interest rates just really jumped, and then it was announced that the Fed was going to do it again in June. So, and then here we are in July and August, where people are just taking off, but they're also waiting to see. So, for example, I mean, I had in April, May, or March, April, there would be, you just put it on no matter what it is. People would do 0 contingencies, and that's because we had all of our inspections done up front. And even if you had a loan, you wouldn't make it contingent upon loan approval. And so that was happening. But right now, properties are sitting like 3 weeks, and then you're getting some price reductions. And I don't want to scare people with the price reductions, because you remember pricing is set by the seller, really. They're just saying, hey, well, they down the street got this, and so now I'm going to just throw my house on the market to see if I can get that also. Well, if they're hanging their hat on that really high sale, then they're not going to get it, and then they just go out of the market, and the buyers have already kind of got out of the market. Like, for example, I can think of a little property in Mill Valley, Sycamore Park. It's a downtown neighborhood, small lots, small houses. And, over time, those houses, many are torn down or they're remodeled. But there was a small house in Mill Valley that came on the market for, I think, $3.5 million, and it went for $5 million.
How big was the house?
Now, it was a tiny house. I mean, it was gorgeous. I mean, part of what's happening too is millennials are buying it if it's done. meaning like beautifully remodeled, that whole look that everybody wants, you know, lots of white. And things are changing, by the way, and what people are looking for. That's another thing, and they always do. But, you know, it was beautifully done, like impeccably detailed landscaping and house. And it was, you know, the price per square foot we're seeing is 2,000
That's
square foot
amazing.
easily, sometimes more,
I wonder if
you know.
the millennials are kind of looking and going, you know what, we are so busy working, we don't have time to fix things up. Is that part of it?
That's right. That's exactly right. Like they don't have, quote, the bandwidth
Yeah.
because they don't have the know-how, they don't have the vision, and they have the money, and they have more of an interest in really enjoying their spare time, like more than other generations. So they're going to buy it. They will just buy it because they will not fix things up. And then you have the baby boomers that are kind of moving down, and they are over it. They're in their 60s, maybe 70s, and they want that one-story house. They've had their decades of remodeling. They're not doing it. They just want something they can move into. So
yeah, you know,
that's for the same thing.
Yeah, I'm not interested in moving, but if I was, I think I'd be the same way because I've remodeled a couple of times, and it's like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I think I just like to live in a house that I don't have to do much to.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you think about it, you're in great shape, but you're also going to probably want to get a one-story because you think, hey, in 20 years, 30 years, I'm not going to deal with steps, and this is going to be my forever house.
Well, I figured
So
that's what my wife is for, so she can carry me down the stairs, right?
That's right.
So interestingly enough,
my God.
you know, I got a phone call today for somebody who he's a mortgage broker, and his client has already purchased the house, or you know, it is in contract, but it's falling out for financing reasons at the last minute because there's just they can't consider restricted stock options as income, and the guy has worked there for almost 3 years, but it's like the bank wants to see 3 years worth rather than 2 years. So Pacific Private Money is going to go ahead and make them a loan, and the loan's like less than 60% loan to value. And it's a perfect loan for us to fund and then throw it into our fund for the Pacific Freedom Fund, because we go ahead and sell those to we say, I just say Wall Street. It's not really Wall Street, but they're big funds. And so the interesting thing is the investors out there who are looking to park money, we just raised the interest rate up to 7%. So you know, because interest rate did go up, and so they went up with a Pacific Private Money also. So, you know, if you think about it, if you've got at least $250,000 and you want to earn 7% without any lockup, you just have to give us 30 days, or give them 30 days notice when you want your money back. That's a great place to just park your money, waiting until something comes along that you want to spend your money on. You know? Yeah,
that's really good. That's really good. And again, like as you mentioned, so interest rates are up, but for the baby boomers, the older people, they're not looking to borrow anymore. They're savers, and they're looking at their retirement and they're investing. So it's actually good for baby boomers that interest rates are up. And you know, Pacific Private Money, what are you going to do with your money? Go get some money, you know, return there, because returns are up. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Okay, you ready to go to our next trivia question? All right, here we go. Who plays the title character in the 1988 movie Beetlejuice? All right.
Oh, yes.
Remember that one?
Yes.
Okay. Call 888-912-1190. First caller with the correct answer wins that tanning certificate, which is worth, by the way, over $100. Who plays the title character in the 1988 film Beetlejuice? All right, stay with us. The Best of Investing will be right back. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Edward Brown and Patty Cohen here. Third trivia question. Who plays the title character in the 1988 film Beetlejuice?
think it was that crazy guy, Michael Keaton, who's such
Very
a great actor,
good. Three
right?
for three. Excellent, Patty. I like it. Okay, so let's talk. First of all, we forgot to tell the audience how to get a hold of you if they have questions of real estate.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for asking. I'm Patty Cohn, C-O-H-N, with Compass. I'm based in Marin County. I'm a real estate broker for 34 years. I've actually sold more listings here than 99.3% of agents. So
Wow.
I have a little experience. Yeah. And I'm at my phone number. And you know, I've got a lot of statistics that are unique and deep dives into every county in the Bay Area. So if somebody wants to really understand some of these numbers, I can send it out to them from
Okay.
San Francisco and Napa and Santa Clara. So my phone number is 415-722-4842.
Okay.
And my email is Patty, P-A-T-T-I, .Cohn, C-O-H-N, @compass.com.
Excellent. And let's talk a little strategy here. What advice are you giving to both buyers and sellers?
Yeah, that's a really good question because they're not really sure what to do. So for sellers, like always, you're going to want to really prepare your house, like detail it to the max, because that is what the expectation is. And if you're not that, you're going to really take a hit in price. And you're going to want to get inspections up front. And the reason is because our the California Association of Realtors contract is as is based on what's known at the time.
Okay.
So at the time the offer is accepted, if you don't have inspections and you don't have a disclosures, the buyer's going to do their due diligence. And if something comes up, they're going to look to the seller for money, you know, like $50,000 here or there, or foundation or whatever.
Yeah.
So always do that. But these days, you want to price it based on, you know, no big underpricing anymore. Like, I mean, significant underpricing where people would, you know, it would go, you know, 30% over asking or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't count on that kind of appreciation, or you can't count on the 10 offers. There are still the shining stars that, you know, in any market across the country, there are the shining stars that are always going to do well and be overbid. But if you've got some flaws in your house, you want to price it. Pricing's really important all the time. And so you want to price it based on, and first of all, there are not that many, you know, sales to true up from, because the number of sales are down like 16% nationwide year over year. So where do you go for pricing? You do not want to price it based on April sales or even March, April. You want to price it maybe based on what sold in February or what's selling in March and like in June. And there haven't been many sales in June or May. But you want to go lower, but not ridiculously lower, because you can't count on that big overbidding. But that's the most important thing, because what happens if it's overpriced, it's going to sit there. You know, once it's out there 2 or 3 weeks, you kind of have to adjust the price down. So now you've lowered the value of your property in the minds of the marketplace and the buyers. So it's like, oh, you know, and then people might be just sitting back waiting for the next price reduction. So now we're looking at each other in September, God forbid, Thanksgiving, and it's still sitting there, and you've gone from that, you know, April price plus add 10%, and now we're down 30%. And you know, it's not that prices have gone down that low, but if you've priced it on the same trajectory, it is a big mistake.
I mean, if it's way out of whack, I get that. But if it's a little bit too high, I would think that a buyer, if a buyer really loves the house, that buyer is going to come in pretty darn close to that asking price, or, you know, they're not going to just, if I were them, I wouldn't just say, oh, I'm just going to wait for another small rate reduction, because that may or may not happen, and you may lose your dream house.
That's true. That's true.
That's how
It just depends what it is. But, if they can tell that there's not a lot of action, they're going to wait it out. But you're right. Like, residential real estate's based on emotion. So if you can get that emotional juice flowing, you got to go in and just take a stab. But yeah, so price it correctly. Don't overprice at all, ever. So if you're a buyer, you really want to do the same. You're not going to buy based on April pricing, but do not wait around thinking that prices are going down, that you have all the time in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Because while you're waiting around, interest rates might go up again, prices might edge up a little, and now you still don't have anything. So just get in is really the answer. But be careful.
Yeah, I mean, because even if the prices don't change, just the fact that interest rates are going up is going to make it a more expensive house for you if you have to borrow against it. If you're paying cash for it, that's another story. But that's a good point about getting in before interest rates go up, because I mean, now you're talking about either 15 or 30 years worth, unless interest rates come down again, that you can refinance. You can't assume that. So you're going to lock yourself into a potentially higher rate. I mean, I'm glad I refinanced when I did back in April of 2021. But
that was a good one.
Yeah, I got lucky. Yeah. I actually started the process in January, and it took 3 months. But fortunately, interest rates did not go up during that time, because we were still in this sort of a weird time frame. Which is interesting, because you think if you go into a recession, at some point, what are they going to do with the interest rates? I guess we get into that weird stagflation type of situation where you have inflation, then you also have a recession, and it's like, how does that work? I mean, wasn't the last time we had that during Carter years?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I can't even remember it. I don't think I was paying attention then.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I can think of an example of what you just described, and it was right around April. I was working with buyers, and we were in escrow on a property in Mill Valley, and they were, probably around 40 years old, and they were first-time buyers in this area, and it was a really nasty sale. You had to kind of be. It would have gotten multiple offers way over asking, except for the fact that it was a trust sale and there was overbidding, meaning that some trusts are really easy, you just close it. But this was a situation where it was the owner was in bankruptcy, and it had to go in front of a court, and there was a possibility of. There's always, when it goes in front of the court, there's always a possibility of overbidding, meaning that you're the buyer, you have a contract, but if it goes in front of the court, somebody else can overbid you. So a lot of people just stay away from that kind of situation.
I know, because I could just see that people really nasty. Hey, Patty, we got to cut to another break. We don't have a trivia question, but stay with us, audience. The Best of Investing will be right back with some closing comments. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen. All right, Patty, why don't you finish off your story about that with the trust and the bankruptcy? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, so here's this couple who I thought they really thought they were overextending themselves, because once they got this property for $1.7 million, it needed so much work, and they were going to put in maybe $500,000, but they were going to do it. So they called me one day and said, we're backing out, because we talked with our financial advisor, and we just realized that we've lost half of our net worth in the stock market. Really? So they were younger, they were probably much more aggressive, so they lost almost half of their net worth. Now we've got a higher interest rate on this big loan that we've got. We don't have this $500,000 that we were going to put into it, and we're out. So all of the buyers, I mean, I put a lot of buyers into escrow, and there was like so many buyers, but all of the buyers that didn't buy are out. They're out of the game. They're waiting. They can't do it. They won't do it.
That's a good point about the stock market having an effect on it. Not only is it the emotional side, but in this case, it really is the financial side, because they were planning on cashing out their stocks or borrowing against them to do the remodel, and now they can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, the stocks are their down payment. And so it's sort of, that's why it's all so confusing, because real estate's the best hedge against inflation. But at the same time, interest rates have gone up, so you can't buy anything. The stock market, when the stock market's down, real estate prices go up. So all these like kind of rules of thumb that we all live under are really different right now. So that's why I'm not making any bets, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know. And that's the thing is, like the stock market, people fearful, they don't do anything, or they sell and get the cash.
Yeah.
So, people waiting for this. There were a lot of people who were, quote, waiting for the market to drop in real estate to, sit on the side. Well, I'm going to wait and then I'm going to get this at a better price. And that didn't happen. And now you wonder, are those people still feeling that way? It's hard to say what's going on with the psyche, and then you got the whole demographics. You got the baby boomers, and then now you got a lot of millennials who, maybe their parents lost money during the crash of, the Great Recession, but, that's old news, and now they're starting their families, and it's like, but like my son's a good example. He doesn't want to rent anymore. He's tired of moving, and he went ahead and bought something on the East Coast. So that's where he's living now. So
interesting.
Yeah.
And was his goal to live where he grew up in Marin?
I kind of think he wants to come back. I'm hoping he wants to come back. And the funny thing is that he just joined a company that is actually home based in San Francisco, but is allowing him to work remotely. So I think he has to just kind of come out once every 6 months or something to headquarters. Probably they just want to make sure he's still alive or something. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
exactly.
I love for them to kind of say, hey, you know what? We want people to be here at least 4 days a week now, and he even said, yeah, I'm a California guy. So it'll be very interesting to see how that works. Patty, give out your information one more time, if you would.
Sure. I'm Patty Cohn, a real estate broker in Marin County with Compass. My phone number is 415-722-4842. And I am at Patty, PATTI.Cohn, COHN, at compass.com.
Very good. All right. Here's our thoughts for the day. What's the difference between a literalist and a kleptomaniac? A literalist takes things literally. A kleptomaniac takes things literally.
Literally.
Literally. And,
literally takes things. I love it.
You like that? Okay. And my wife often compares me to Ryan Gosling. She'll say, "You're nothing like Ryan Gosling." That's her comparison. Oh, just kind of stick it in there. Just I get no respect. What can I say? All right, audience, tune in next week to The Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free prizes for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown. We're wishing you the best of investing. So long.